Welcome back and good day, loved ones. It's your boy Seth Garu Baxter with Maker's Bar, where we are creating 1 million leaders today for tomorrow. Today, we have two of those leaders, entrepreneurs, directors, and filmmakers in the industry. We have David R. Hernandez, the president and CEO of Nightflare, and one of his partners, E.R.Suerez, who's also a filmmaker and writer, director, and cinematographer. We are more than happy to have both of you here today. How are you, gentlemen?
Amazing. Thank you for having us, Seth.
Thank you, Seth.
Absolutely my pleasure. Absolutely my pleasure. You know, in part of what Maker's Bar's mission is, it's not only in creating 1 million leaders, but it's to spotlight leaders who are already doing work that you gentlemen are doing. So it's our pleasure to have you here today to give us insight into your company and your entrepreneurship journey. So starting off, David, would you introduce us to your origin story? Where do you hail from? What put you on this road? And give us a little insight to your life.
Yeah, definitely. No, thank you once again. Well, my name is David R. Hernandez. I am president and CEO of the first multimedia production company here in Southeast LA. It's just a little city, a little off from Los Angeles, a little closer to East LA and South Central. I grew up in a city called Huntington Park. And Nightflare was basically an inspiration towards me being in a music background for a very long time. So I was a musician, played in a couple bands when I was younger. And my whole inspiration towards that was me documenting bands at the time too, even my own musical journey, not knowing that I would become a filmmaker later in the future. And that's alongside with E.R.Suerez, right? So like we literally were a part of a group a long time ago. And without knowing, Ernie had an idea as our singer to create a first documentary of our album, and our first album ever. And so he did do a documentary, and it was very just independent, right? Very indie, very rough, you know? So it was pretty fun. And I think we never really thought about it much until later in the future, until we got into more art endeavors into our journey. And Ernie was one of the first ones that actually directed my first music video for one of alternative bands later in the future. And so I think at that point, I kind of realized that me as a producer and me being able to help him and make that happen for him was when I noticed that I was in this journey, not only as a musician, but also as a filmmaker. So being able to make that music video happen for Ernie as a director for our music video for my band at the time made me see and made me bring a vision in towards creating Nightflare. Not knowing, of course, the name in general, but at the same time, it was basically just a spark idea of like, hey, Ernie, what do you think about creating a production company? You know, let's make movies. And he's like, I don't know, man, that's crazy. And it seems like far out, you know. So we come from a Latino Hispanic background, so it's not really in our genre of like lifestyle or teachings to move us into the industry. You know, we are told to go to school and become doctors, lawyers, professional in some sort of career that basically has a title and a paper. Not knowing what we were going to do with this, I kind of just jumped on and told Ernie, well, let's just start a project and let's work on how this is going to happen. And so we started with basically doing our own production on a artist spotlight. So similar to what you're doing for artists and entrepreneurs and so many people out there in the world, we wanted to do this for musicians in our neighborhoods, artists that were just upcoming, musicians that were just upcoming. And so we curated this whole thing called the Artist Spotlight. And we basically interviewed and also captured them live in their own studio or in their own preferred space where they've created music, to document them, film a track for them, and then interview them to basically show their stories later in the future and put it like a short little doc kind of style thing. Well, that was a practice run. It never went out, never really released, but it was basically the foundation of what we created. And it led us to basically be able to be the creatives and also move on into the next step for our journey. And so after that, we've has so many production experience alongside two other founding members of Nightflare. And we basically created a platform. We created a media company, a production company, where it allowed us to film our first big project. And it was the Southeast LA Arts Festival here in Southeast LA, down in the LA Riverbed in 2019. And so we were the media company that basically recorded one festival in Southeast LA for the first time. And we also got to program the year after that, because of COVID, we programmed a virtual festival that was 4 hours. That also, that led us to the next version of Nightflare, creating a lot more people to work with, a lot more friends in relationships that we created after that. We basically stitched roughly over 10 to 15 productions. I honestly don't know, because Ernie was the one that edited this. So he knows how many productions we stitched together, and we made a 4-hour immersive virtual festival for people to watch in the comfort of their own homes.
That is incredible, brothers. I'm telling you, that is incredible.
Yeah, and it literally was exciting. I always tell, like, my victories, I'm going to say, like, that's a big one for us. I think it literally created such an impact, as well as a spotlight for not only us as creators, but as well as a company, a small company from Southeast LA, and one of the first here in Southeast LA. It got me to basically be introduced to working with Cello, who you met that day on July 4th.
Yes.
With LACMA. So she brought me into LACMA. So we worked with them. Not only that, but we also work with other Southeast LA cities here. I work with basically all 10 cities here in Southeast LA. I also work with organizations and nonprofits, as well as the Sela Collaborative. And I would say another one too that's recent would be the LA Philharmonics, or the Ford Theater with Cynthia Fuentes. That's another big one for us. And then it got us to work with musicians and artists around LA County. I also work with LA County. I work with other individuals that basically have been a part of not only bringing art, but artists and art all together. So that's literally been the foundation. It's that festival itself, the journey that we've taken, coming from Southeast LA as grown, also not knowing this industry, but getting to learn along the way, hands-on, of how we're going to basically pursue what we really want to do, and that's become the next filmmakers from Southeast LA.
And ER, is there something you'd like to add on to that as a part of your journey and how this intermingled?
Yeah, I mean, David and I have been working together for, I think, like 20 years now. We started off as like high school friends making music in a band, and this journey has just brought us along this amazing thing that we've been building. It's amazing to be able to bring in more people and collaborate with creatives, and have art that's being produced by talented individuals that are sometimes they get overshadowed because of where we are in our region and all that stuff, but it's nice to be able to give them the opportunity to come in and create and be seen. And it's awesome to give that space to people. So it's nice to be able to have a partner like David that sees that and sees talent in other people and says, oh, this person can come along and help us build by being either I see it, he builds it by pieces. He'll say, oh, this person is good at sound. Well, we have a sound guy now. This person is good at lighting. We have a lighting guy now. And so he starts to build the pieces together. And that's how you build a company, obviously. But he does it within Sela. He looks within Sela, because obviously David has been networking with a lot of people, and he meets creatives and talented people all over Hollywood that are doing this professionally. But he goes, no, I can get those people. Yes, I can bring in those people and come and work on our films. But he goes, why not build within our own community, bring in our people and make them part of Hollywood, not bring Hollywood and, no, it's bring Hollywood like us, like we are Hollywood ourselves. So let's bring it together. And it's great. It's been a great journey, being able to do it with them. And it's like, we work together in a really good creative, like a yin yang, because like, I feel like he grounds me sometimes, because I'm spacey. I get in my head, and I'm a writer, so it's like, and he knows how I am. So it's like I have multiple projects going on at one time, and I always go to him and tell him, hey, I have this, and he goes like, how about we focus on this project here? And that's good, because like, yeah, I can come up with a bunch of ideas, but he tells me, let's focus on this one, and then he gives me the steps on where to follow, because like, I know that if I don't do that, I'm gonna go everywhere, and I'll have 100 projects that I'm excited about, but not going anywhere. You know what I mean? So he
I
helps me
do.
with that kind of stuff. Yeah, and that's what he does as a producer. He helps me guide the project because sometimes I don't know how. Sometimes I'm just all over the place. So it's good that I have a partner like that. So that's
Absolutely. Well,
pretty
it
much,
sounds like it.
yeah.
I was
Okay.
just going to say your collaboration also sounds like a brotherhood, and you
Mhm.
have a
100%.
mission.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And sometimes that is that could be contentious because two brothers can be at odds ends, but there's a symmetry in the work of that collaboration as well, where you know each other well enough to know I'll pick up this end and he'll pick up that end. Am I understanding correctly?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
well,
exactly.
yeah. I mean, I'll be a little bit more, I guess, open on like Ernie has basically been a part of my journey for a long time, and Ernie has left that journey for a gap. But I never doubted the fact that this was going to come back. So I knew
Mhm.
Ernie was going to go on his own journey. He had his own thing going on and so forth, personal life and so forth. But when he came back to LA, I was like, we're doing this. This is the time now. This is going to be our journey, and we're going to do this now, because he's been writing for a long time and he's had film ideas for a long time. And so when he came back roughly about 2 years ago, I told him, what is the next, what do you have going on right now that we need to make happen? And they'll be transitioning to what we have spoke about last time, right, Seth? It was the film festival in our short film that
Absolutely.
debuting this Friday at Chicano Hollywood. Press play. So he told me I have press play. I'm like, what do you need? We're gonna make this happen. Let's do it now.
That's incredible.
That's how
That's
it happened.
incredible.
Actually,
I got to tell you,
can I share a funny story? Just like as
please
far as you were
do.
saying, like
Please do.
how we do, how one person does one thing, another person does another thing to kind of build on upon it. We released a trailer yesterday, and we worked on it together. And it's funny, like he was editing, putting it together, and he's like, you know what? I don't know how to do this part right here. You gotta mix something right here. And he's like, here, can you do this? I was like, yeah. And he tagged me in. He tagged me in. I came in and I started mixing it. And then our friend was there and he was like, yeah, that sounds good. Like he was approving everything. It was like everyone was just having their own little part into the trailer. It was pretty cool to see that. Like we just did it as a team. Like he did his part, I came in, I did my part, and we handled it. It was like that's how a team should work. And it was cool to see
It
it happening.
absolutely is.
So yeah.
Absolutely is. I got to tell you, the name Nightflare is so fascinating. Where did that come from?
Oh, oh man, that name itself, it was already in my nose for a long time. So is actually the email that I created when I was in middle school. So in middle school, it was early Gmail's first years that I was launching, and it was Gmail. We had to basically send emails to our teachers at the time. And I created Nightflare, and literally my Gmail, and I'm gonna say my personal Gmail is literally nightflare2509@gmail.com. And with that, and when I created Nightflare, I had no idea I was gonna call it Nightflare until later on. I had names in my head that I can't even remember anymore. I probably have the list on my notes on my iPhone. I'll probably have them there, but other than that, I was like, damn, I don't like this. So I went back and I had an email that day and it said Nightflare. I'm like, damn, I like Nightflare. So I'm gonna call it Nightflare Company, because I named it Nightflare Company because it's collaborative. It's a bunch of people coming in together, and we're a company. We're basically a form of forces. And so then after
Oh, I
that,
like that. A form of forces.
a form of forces. So
Oh, I really like that.
Yeah.
So for me, it's always been about spotlighting people. I'm behind the camera most of the time. For me, to be honest, like even this interview itself, it's nervous because I don't like being in front of camera, but I know for a fact that it's very important to show face and to be in front of the camera to at least tell the story that we're trying to tell, right? Not only spotlighting the people that we spotlight, but also at least give them the interview that people are looking for, which is vulnerable, truth, and why we do this. So it's very important. And I think Nightflare for me it's not only a personal thing, but it was always the intention of being able to spotlight all the artists here in Southeast LA, all the people that basically are artists that don't have so much spotlight in their lives just because they think that they can't make it and so forth. So my thing has always been like, nah, man, I'm gonna believe in you. If this is going to be a goal that you want to do, well, let me see what we can do to make that happen. And I've always been a person that way. Even with my music endeavor, even it's still here in film, even when I was working 9 to 5 and so forth, I've always been a person like, how can I help you become the best salesperson? Because I was in sales for a long time. And so I did all that stuff, just be able to put it all together, and I'm like, now I'm going to use these skills to help others bring out their creative outlet and put them on the spotlight. And so what better way than to do it in a multimedia company that does all forms of things? I mean, we work with artists, I work with musicians, I work with organizations, corporate work, films, and so much more. You know, that's why I started calling Nightflare our Southeast LA's first conglomerate media production company, because we do so much more than just video. We do so much more than just music. We basically are a leadership to a collective of artists to basically be a force of forces, you know.
I got to tell you, I just really love that. I think it's inspirational on so many levels. Having worked in the East LA area myself some years ago, I know the need for there to be options and viable job opportunities. And not only that, but to be able to have a multimedia company that's there in the heart of it gives further hope and inspiration to other young people to be able to do the same thing. And I just really appreciate and admire your efforts in that way.
Yeah, it's been a journey. I can't say. I mean, it's not easy, and also, to be completely honest, it isn't for everyone. But I would tell you, it could be if you have that drive, if you have that heart, and if you have that ambition. One thing too, ambition could be looked upon very in the bad way, but it's not. Being ambitious for being there creates a bigger vision. It's very inspiring for the fact that, let me show you, but it's going to take time.
Well, entrepreneurs have to have that ambition, I think. Yeah. And in talking to some of the entrepreneurs and CEOs I've spoken to before, the ambition is not a profane word to them, because the ambition is what drives them to create these incredible organizations. And so ambition, I know it can be seen sometimes as a derogatory term or used in that manner, but when you are an entrepreneur, and to get to the place where you want to, you have to have that ambition. I think that's the drive. So I definitely understand that, though, where sometimes it's seen as a taboo type of word. But one of the running threads between the CEOs and entrepreneurs I've seen is that they all have ambition, male or female, to push forward their companies. Now, I must ask you, when you created Nightflare, some of your drive had to push you in the direction of raising capital for your company. And what was the process in raising capital for your company for some of our aspiring entrepreneurs?
Yeah, so raising capital for my company was basically being able to, first of all, just have a plan of like what's going to be our main expenses for what, and as well also savings, right? So it's like we literally had to, I had to basically just kind of like, first out of pocket, first of all, I had to invest in myself. So Nightflare was all my money after I quit my job. I invested everything on my company, 100%, and I launched it. From there on, I collectively just worked on out of pocket until I started getting clients and so forth to be able to get that income and so forth to be able to now make it a lot larger. And I would say the biggest part for me was managing it, because
managing the capital.
Yeah, managing the capital, for the fact that sometimes it could be overwhelming, and sometimes you don't know, like taxes purposes and all the other stuff. You know, I think in this form for me, capital would be the team. You know, who would be the right team in order for us to keep us consistent? You know, who is the right team for that? Because if not, there is no capital. And so it can't just be me. So me knowing that I can't do this alone basically gave me the capital I needed to, or also the mentality to do so, to be like, hey, you know what, like Ernie was saying earlier, Ernie is going to be director, camera, or my next other individuals are going to be, you're going to do sound, you're going to do mixing, you're going to do flag, lighting, and so forth. And this is the team in order for me to pitch this to our clients or to our next to our next project, so that way we can at least show ourselves and what we can do as a team. If I go by myself, yes, it looks great and all. I could do great work. You could do great work as a solo man, but it looks so much cleaner. It looks so much professional when you have a whole team behind you. And so when an organization or a project comes along and you propose a team, they're like, oh, wow, this is actually going to be a good job. And then instead of them questioning, oh, individual job, just one camera guy and doing everything else by themselves, like, how is this going to look? You know, are we going to, is it going to be enough for us to have capital? Or is it just going to be just completely just one-time thing, right? And so even beforehand, it was always me planning, how am I going to propose Nightflare as a one-stop media shop? You know, How can I do that? So I can basically continue not only producing, but at the same time, Nightflare now keeps on ongoing for next project after another. And after one project comes along, somebody else is recommending us to a next project. Why? Because we did this current job with this organization or with this client. So I think us showing devotion, giving the time and day, and being able to be there with our organizations and clients and speak to them and give them the time to basically produce and vision and put everything together and make it feel so seamless for them is what they're looking for. And so one experience I had that with the Sela Arts Fest is that the director for the festival was looking for just one person to pay one paycheck to, instead of paying 10 paychecks to like video guy, camera guy, light guy, sound guy, and editor guy, right? So I pitched them was, hey, we're this one stop. You have us, I got the rest. You just have to worry about me. That's about it. And so that's one way for me to tell you that capital has been rising for me is for Nightflare itself, is that they only talk to one person and I take care of it for them.
And ER, did you want to add anything to that?
No, he's no. David handles all that stuff. I'm more of just like a creative side. Yeah, he's more of the office stuff. I'm not good at that. Don't never put me in charge of that. The IRS be knocking at our door the very second I get in charge.
And that's one thing too about
yeah.
and every single person I brought and I work with, I've always asked them, I want to create a box of leaders. You know, I don't want to be the only person leading. I just feel like I'm not a boss, I'm more of a leader. And so I want to create more leaders. And I've given and try to give those roles to certain individuals. And honestly, I believe in this world, there's two people, you know, there's workers or people that just want to work for the creative arts and be artists. And there's people that can lead and manage and do all the administrative work in the future, right? And it's okay to be either one.
It's just a great way you put that. I think those two categories are correct.
We need both. We need both in this world. And it's okay to know where you want to be, because at the end of the day, like if I just wanted to work with someone and I don't want to manage, if I didn't have the skills or if I didn't have that ambition in me, then yes, I would just like to be a creative and let me just be a cinematographer for you. And that's it. I don't want to worry about where to put my expenses or what is going to be, who am I going to be dealing with? Just let me know what time, what do I need? How do I need to create this? And we're good. You know, so it's like, it's okay to just be where you want to be, you know?
And you described it wonderfully, because that is also a common thread that I hear with some of the CEOs who happen to be creators, but they have the strive to be in management. So their focus is in that way. And they have described a similar way that you're a creative or you're the management. And it's an equal balance, and neither one is bad in either way. It just takes both of those to make the organizations work smoothly. And right. I'm also very curious, when you were coming up with the concept of Nightflare and making these films, who were some of your inspirations? ER, I'll ask you first this time. Who were some of your inspirations, just as far as films and movies and direction and screenwriters that you were interested in or you looked up to that were mentors of sorts?
Oh, yeah, I mean, I looked up to a lot of different directors. Like David Fincher's like my favorite director, one of my favorite directors. Martin Scorsese's. So yeah, Martin Scorsese's one. So it's like I like the more of like the darker stuff. So that's what I tend to gravitate towards. So that's what I tend to like a lot. Or visuals. I'm a visual guy. I grew up watching a lot of music videos. So that's kind of my inspiration. That's why I tend to see everything more visually, because I watch music videos and that's all music video is, just visuals. It doesn't matter what your story is, it's just all visuals. So I tend to focus a lot on visuals. So when I'm reading a story, I'm writing a story. Most likely I'm writing it because I see a picture already in my head. So it's like I work off of that. That's kind of how I do things. But like I don't have a lot of I can't tell you a lot of directors that I could say inspired me, other than just I like what they do. And if I like what they do, if I like a film, especially if a film connects with me, I like it, I tend to watch it a lot, to the point where it's I know the intentions on why they moved the camera, why they decided to stop there, why they blocked it the way they blocked it. It's I watch it and I try to see why I liked it. there's a reason why the techniques that they used in that scene or whatever what they were doing, that worked for a reason. Why did it work? And that's because I didn't go to film school. Like I never went to film school. I didn't do any of that stuff. So I learned just by either watching or going on YouTube. If I had a question, 'cause I don't have a teacher, I go to YouTube, ask the question because that's the best way to get an answer. And I just go and look up something if I don't know how to do it. So it's like
So
that's
some
my
of your stuff
process.
is by instinct.
A lot of it is by instincts. I can tell you, like, there's a shot in our short film. I in the process of us doing it, we were kind of rushed. It was like the last shot. We really, I didn't have like a lot of time to like tell my cinematographer this is how we're gonna light it. I just said, all right, put the light here, put the light here. We're just gonna move, pan from left to right, and just end center frame with the kid on the bed. We're like, okay. And I didn't think about like the lighting and all that stuff at the time because I was just rushing it. But in the cut, when we're watching it afterwards, like that shot has more impact because of the fact that it's blue. And I didn't think about it in the moment, but it's blue and it kind of sucked the life out of the picture. Because when you're
Mm.
watching it, when you're watching the movie at the very end, like it's really warm, it's beautiful. You're like seeing this beautiful sunset and it's warm, and out of nowhere, it just gets sucked out of it and it's blue. And it gives you that emotion, like, because like it's a big shock. And when you're watching the movie, you'll see why it's a shock. But it's like that choice was an instinct. That wasn't me intentionally thinking ahead of time. I'm gonna do it that way. It just happened that day of on the set. And it's like a lot of times we work that way. We shot a short film here recently, like 2 weeks ago, and we did like a oneer, so it's like a one take. We signed up certain spots where we're gonna stop at, like beats for the shots, and then like I let David kind of like, all right, these are the beats that I want, and he took over and he did his thing, and it was like one of those weird things where I was like, all right, even though like it wasn't exactly how I saw it in my head, the fact that I gave him the beats of where to stop, and then I let him kind of just take control of his camera work and how he was gonna shoot the damn scene, like it looked amazing. It looked better than how I saw it in my head because like I can only see it one way, but his perspective changed it and it made it better. That's why the collaborative stuff works. And it's like I like to give people the opportunity to just like let them shine too. Because yeah, I can go in there and be a dictator and be like, it has to be like this and you can't change anything. And yeah, it'll probably be okay, but I like giving people the opportunity to shine too. And he's a talented guy, so I'm not gonna tell him like, don't do your thing. Like, no, shine, let him shine, let him do his thing. So it's like I like to let people do their things. Even with like actors, my actor will ask me 100 questions on how to approach a scene. I'm gonna tell him however you feel like doing it. You know, it's your take, your character. How do you want to do it? You know, and I'll tell him if it aligns with the movie. Yeah, I'm not gonna tell him like if he wants to be a drug dealer and this movie's a kids movie, like, hey, dude, like we can't do it that way. You know, it has to be towards the subject. Make it so it fits the subject. So if it fits, I let it work. That's pretty much how I tend to do that kind of stuff.
I mean, I also did sell him onto that oneer shot, so I was like, oneer. I told him after, like, I want to do this oneer shot. I feel like it's gonna be great, and it's like, just give me your placement of where you want me first. What is the important shots you want to capture, and then let me do my thing. And he's like, all right, cool, let's give it a try. And so
Well, the same question.
Yeah, so I was really happy that he gave me that opportunity to be able to do that, just because it's actually the second short that we have coming up next. It's my debut as a cinematographer, as a DP in a short film. And so I've done other works, cinematographer work and other types of jobs, but not in a short film. And so this will be officially my first short as a cinematographer and producer.
It's fascinating. I'm curious also, the same question for you, David, before I delve back into that. Who were some of the inspirations that you had looked to as far as your style of movie that you're interested in, or who were some role models you might not necessarily emulate, but you enjoyed their style?
Yeah, definitely. I could only think of one that's very recent and it's very a modern director, and it's Christopher Nolan. You know, just because he's a Christopher Nolan from The Dark Knight. He's a director and writer that basically did not go to film school because
I'm familiar.
I didn't go to film school. So and after that, before that, it was just like I just wanted to be the next filmmaker Latino that basically was able to open doors. In my mind, that was before anything as becoming a filmmaker, and was more about the fact that I didn't see so many people in the industry doing open doors for other in their own community. It was also it's also gatekeeping. And so I was like, why is that?
Mm.
happening, or why isn't there more Latinos like us that are really creatives from other regions in Hollywood? You know, people in Hollywood has to be in Hollywood, and they're only hired within Hollywood. Well, for me, my mentality has always been, well, I want to be the director, or I want to be the producer or the cinematographer that's able to open doors and make moves in Hollywood and bring it back to my community, so I can give them those doors and start bringing people in. That's always been in my head. But inspiration to say right now is like who I got to see in the movies he got to make. Um, I'm gonna say Christopher Nolan, as a filmmaker who didn't go to film school, a creative, just basically creating out of his own vision, and that's who I aspire to be. A creative, a cinematographer, a producer, maybe a feature writer, because I'm not a writer yet, and a director that's able to basically produce movies in the industry that are not so centered on what industry standards are, but at least give it the industry standard look plus more.
Mm. Christopher Nolan is a genius when it comes to how he films his projects. Also, I really enjoy his films as well. He's one of my favorite. He's also one of my favorite.
We can't wait to make our first feature IMAX movie. That's for sure.
So
I know Christopher Nolan was one of the first ones, but man, we can't wait to make the Latino version of an IMAX.
And that's where you're supposed to be setting your sights on, because one of the questions I would ask is, where do you see Nightflare Films 5 years from now, 10 years from now?
We hope to have our own studio here in Southeast LA. You know, actually operate from Southeast LA, have our own studio where we're able to have a couple stages, hopefully, maybe just one stage, headquarters, so we can at least make movies here, invite more creatives from our community and outside our community as well to come work with us. Anybody that we want to work with, is everybody. It's just that I probably aspire, I think for us, my main goal, and I'm surprised it hasn't been done yet, but I want to be maybe we could be the first Latino motion pictures in Southeast LA.
Oh, wow. Absolutely. Absolutely. I know Danny Trejo, he has been working on some stuff behind the scenes, I know, for a while in that area as far as filmmaker. He was one of them. And then not too long ago, I remember hearing something about Edward James Olmos looking to do something. Yeah.
So I hope they do. So I've been to the La Leaf with Edward James Olmos, and yes, definitely, I think it'll be great for them to have spaces like that. But having an actual studio for the first Latino motion pictures is literally where I think we need to head towards to. I look up Tyler Perry. You know, look, Tyler Perry built up his own studio out in Atlanta. We have the Tyler Perry Studios. I think I'm super excited about that. I think that's a big inspiration for in my journey. You know, we have so many other motion pictures out in Hollywood and Burbank and so forth, from like Warner, Universal, etc. and so forth. And now we have Tyler Perry as our, you know, Black-owned motion picture, you know, studio out in Atlanta. Well, I think it's time to bring our Latino community out forth and have our first Latino motion pictures.
I love that. I think it's very much a great ideal vision, for sure. Now, I'm also curious, tell us about the short film that's coming up Friday.
Yeah, Ernie, it's all yours.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
so I'm going to make the introduction. So
Ernie said, "Oh, man."
I'm gonna give him some time. So I'm gonna give him some.
How much time do we have? Right? No.
I'm gonna introduce him. So Seth, so Press Play is E.R.Suerez first written and directing film, and a short film, and I couldn't not been more than honored to be his producer, executive producer on this short film of his, because I've been waiting for him to do a film in general. And so it brings me to my most pleasure to introduce you, E.R.Suerez, writer and director, for our short film coming up this Friday, July 18th at the 12 p.m. Block 1 at Chicano Hollywood Film Festival. Ernie Suarez.
Thank you for that, David.
Absolutely.
This is it's a long journey to make this short film, to be honest. It's one of those stories where it was like it was written by me for like a personal. It's kind of personal, to be honest, because like about 12 years ago, I got pneumonia, and at the time my girlfriend was pregnant, and you know. I could have died. The doctor told me, it's like, you know, he would have came here a day late, he could have died. Like, I don't know why you waited so late. And I was like, well, I have kids, so I have to work no matter what. Even if I'm sick, I still have to go to work. So I tried to tough it out, and I ended up being in the hospital for like 7 days, you know. And it kind of hit me. I was like, damn, this kid would have like grown up without a father, kind of thing. So like, how would that would have been? Because I grew up without a father, you know. Like, not that I didn't have like father or male figures around me, but I didn't have like a day-to-day father, you know. There wasn't someone to guide me and stuff like that, and like I didn't have anybody to go ask questions that you would normally ask some male questions, you know. So it's like I didn't have that. So I was like, damn, so what would happen to this kid if I wasn't around? Like, if he didn't have that. So it's like I kind of had the idea of like, what would be cool if like he did letters. And I tried to do a movie where like he did letters, and like once a year, like a letter will arrive in the mail, and you would open it, and it'll be a letter from his father, you know. So I thought of doing that at first, and then I changed it to videos because I thought it's more modern to have video. So then I thought about like doing like a guide. Like, he's gonna have like a guide of how to guide, like give his son some kind of guidance in life, like through ages. So that's how I kind of structured the story of him just trying to teach his son through like you know, age one, age two, just like different videos guided to him or created for him for when he's like has any kind of questions, he can just simply ask his father instead of having to ask some stranger. So he kind of like creates videos for him for the future, so when he's not around for him. So that's kind of the story that I kind of was trying to make in this little short. It was a struggle to make this short. The only reason we actually got the short is because David told me let's do something about it, and we went to some what was it, a mixer, David? I don't even remember what it was. It was like a
He's
mixer,
smiling.
right?
David is smiling.
Yeah, I think it was like a mixer, and I ended up winning like a rental for
Oh
like
yeah,
these merch.
yeah. Went to a
Yeah.
mixer. It was a filmmakers mixer out in Santa Monica. Literally, it's all in Hollywood. All these mixers I invite everybody. Everything's out there. And so we went to this mixer, and I'll let you continue the story because it's
Yeah. Yeah, I ended up winning a rental for like these mercury lenses, these like anamorphic lenses, and I was like, "This is gonna look beautiful." I'm like, "Let's shoot the film." So we had it set to like shoot at the beginning of the month or the end of the month. What was it, David? I think it was the end of the month, right?
Yeah.
It was like set to shoot at the end of the month. I had got an actor. You know, we talked about it. He was like getting ready for the thing. Like, I kind of were talking to him about, you know, the meaning of the character and all that stuff. So we got behind it, really got into it, right? A week, 2 weeks before, he had to drop out for personal reasons. So now I was at an actor, but I cannot cancel this shoot. I still have these lenses. So I asked David, what are we gonna do? David comes up to me, he's like, I got you. He comes up to me 2 days later, and he's like, I got this actor. And he's like, what do you think of him? I was like, all right, Rizzo. I was like, all right. I saw him, and I was like, I can see him playing this character. I was like, okay. So then we went for it, and then, you know, the whole negotiating, having to get him in there and everything. Like, I got him 3 days before the shoot to confirm for this. He had a day to prepare, to read like 12 pages and try to memorize this and try to get into the character and everything. So it was a lot on him. And I saw like he was like, I'm sorry, I know I'm trying. I'm like, dude, just relax. Like, you know, speak to it like you're speaking to a kid. Like, this is your son. So I try to calm him down. So he really put himself in it. Like, I almost got him to cry. Almost, but you know, it was hard. It's like, I get it. Like, you just have the material right then and there. So it was a struggle. And then there was like just a lot of things that were happening that were just kind of stopping it. And it was like, do I stop and just let this like win and I don't ever get to make this film, or do we actually push forward, determined to fucking do something? Determined to do something and actually finish it. And we actually finished it, and we actually got a chance to put together a short film. And I'm like super proud that we actually got to complete something, you know, because it's like, it's finally doing it and not just like talking about it was like, this is a struggle, and it's not as easy as people think it is. Even to make a 8-minute short takes almost a year to complete entirely because of like the fundings, of the trying to find people to do things, you know, the coloring, the sound, everything. It takes so much time. And not just the shooting, you know, the planning of the shootings also takes time. So it takes a long time to do something that's even as just a small little thing, because we don't have funds, you know, we don't have a lot of money to throw out people and say, hey, can you make this for us? Here's money for it. You know, like, we have to ask favors, or like we have to collaborate and like, you know, exchange work. That's how we kind of operate here. and sell it, because that's how we have to. I work for you on one set, you come to work for me on another set. We kind of just work like way, but we able to pull this off together by just asking a lot of favors. And David did fund a lot of it. He did pull in some money and was able to pay for catering and be able to get for some lighting equipment that we didn't have. So there was a lot of things that were riding on us to try to complete this. So as many struggles as we had to make it, like we didn't stop. We didn't stop. So that was his determination to say, like, we're gonna do this, dude. Even though we had a problem on the day of.
We did.
Of the shoot.
We didn't have a
Yeah.
problem. Yeah. The location that we were supposed to film the first time, where him and his cinematographer had already curated the whole scene already for the day. So they had already done a rehearsal beforehand on location 1. And the day of us filming, we had to get out.
We lost the location.
We lost location.
Oh, wow.
So
we already set up too.
So I told him, we're gonna do this no matter what. And I'll go fix my house right now, and we're gonna shoot at my house. Let's do this. And Ernie was like, done. Let's go. So we moved everybody that was already prepped. My sound guy was ready. My light guy was ready. Our DP was ready. Director was ready. Actors were ready. But told them all to move to location number 2. We're driving. We shot maybe the next 10 hours, of course, over schedule, but we made it happen. And for me, I'm just shout out to the team from that I was able to put together, for the fact they're all friends too. They came through, they made the time, and they said, we're here for you. And we're making this happen. So for us, for myself, I would not be able to make this film happen for Ernie if it wasn't for the team that I brought in, and that also that we all know together for such a long time. It's been such a relationship in the past. Every single individual that I work with, we've actually worked with them in the music scene in the past. They're all musicians and also creatives now. So it's crazy that I still have people in the music industry being able to be so artistic in so many different ways that they're able to learn projects or roles as I bring them on. And one of the things I've also learned in this industry is that, well, for myself, I'm not too sure if everybody else works that way, but for me, my world works is I have to at least learn a portion of everybody's job, so I know that I can at least teach it or show a person if we need it last minute to make something happen. So it's like, well, I mean, it's cool. I'll just bring out a friend and I'll teach him all the ropes, quick needs that we need, and then later on I'll figure it out.
I'm curious. So this is a story. I love the name, and it's so descriptive of the content that you, as you described the film, press play. So that so am I understanding correctly? So the son presses play to see these letters his dad has sent him.
No, in the videos, he actually makes videos, kind of like if he's watching a 1-year-old, if he's trying to talk to a 1-year-old, he's gonna be singing lullabies. He's going to be reading bedtime stories, stuff like that. There's all the videos where he talks about like his own personal life too, like so that he gets to know who he is as a father, like as a person, not just oh, that was my dad. He goes like, no, my dad liked wrestling because that was me. I like wrestling. I'm a wrestling fan.
Yeah, and just to give a small context, it's basically a short film. What do you call it, Ernie? A proof of concept.
Proof of concept, yeah, it's a proof of concept.
So a short film is a proof of concept. So more of the story that Ernie is giving you is basically what the feature film should look like. But on the short film, it's a very short piece of father is basically diagnosed with terminal cancer. He is gonna die, and he leaves his son with a list of videos for him to watch as he grows up, and it's with his wife, of course. And so as he gets older, each video in the future film that would hopefully be possible in the future it's a list of just things that a kid in the age will be basically to listen to or see as time goes on until he becomes the man that he's going to become.
I love the story. It sounds incredible. As a dad myself, it's just one of those kind of movies that that really can resonate, and it sounds like it does with you. I definitely get that. And the idea was based when you were very sick and seeing your life and knowing that you were as a dad and what would happen. So that was what built this concept. Absolutely. Where is it being released? You said again, please.
So this it'll be debuting for the first time Friday, July 18th at 12 o'clock at the Chicano Hollywood Film Festival. It's going to be in Pomona.
In Pomona.
Yeah. There's tickets available now until the day of. It's a festival that starts on the 17th to the 20th. But we're going to debut for the first time the film there at the Chicano Hollywood Film Festival. And we're super honored for them to having us and being able to accept our film to be at their festival.
Absolutely. Well, I would definitely want to check it out myself. So I'm hoping I have an open invitation.
Yes.
Yes.
We want to welcome
of
anybody
course.
else that's watching. Please come through, come say hi, enjoy the film with us. We want to watch it with everybody. It's
also David's gonna have his music video being shown on Sunday as well. He directed a music video.
Oh.
Yeah.
Good plug. Good plug.
Yeah. Like,
That's
I don't think he's gonna say it, but I'm like, I'm gonna say it for him.
Very much, man.
That's how you do it.
I think he's gonna say it.
That's
I'm like,
how you do it.
That's a good music video.
That's how you do it.
He did great. Yeah.
Yeah.
So tell us about the music video. Tell us.
Yeah.
About
So I mean, the music video
whatever
will be
you can share.
showcasing. So you can actually watch the music video now. The music video is my first official music video as a director and a cinematographer. And it's with a band called Las Cafeteras. And Las Cafeteras are friends of mine that I've worked with in the past. And for the first time, they actually reached out and they wanted to have their next music video be directed and shot by me. And so on Sunday, also at the Chicano Hollywood Film Festival, they'll be debuting to the big screen. I think it'll be basically around 3 p.m. I can't remember what time exactly, but it'll be displayed on Sunday, July 20th, for everybody to see. But you can also watch it now on YouTube. So it's from Las Cafeteras, and the name of their song is called Tia Lucha.
Tia Lucha.
Yeah.
Tia Lucha.
And it's in reference to grandma? Is that in reference to grandma?
I can't remember exactly the description. I can't say if I verbatim. But I think it's just empowerment of this aunt or this woman that is woman empowerment, and also just bringing people that just are fighters, coming in, fighting, and being there for everyone. And so for community, it's wholesome community, and just fighting for community in general. Like I mentioned, I can't say if I verbatim, but we'll probably know more. Some of the artists will be there on Sunday. They'll be joining us. And then we'll have some of our crew as well on Sunday, as well as on July 18th for press play. Some of our cast and crew will be available there also to enjoy the film, and people will enjoy watching it for the first time.
I'm looking forward to that as well. I must say, I thought I heard you also mention that you've already begun on a second film project. Did I hear that correctly earlier on in our conversation?
So
can you give us a little insight to that?
Yeah, so Ernie, I'll let you take the plate on this one because you know more about betrayal than I do.
Yeah, same thing. Same thing. Yeah. After we finished doing the first one, I kind of had a sour taste in my mouth because it was kind of hard. It was like, this is really tough for me. Like, it was so stressful. And then Dave was like, "No, let's do another one, dude." Like, he started telling me, he's like, "I want to do one every month," and I was like, "Okay, let's do one every month then. I'll jump back into it." So then he's like, "Just come up with a story, do something. I don't care." It's like, all right. So I wrote something really fast, and I just kind of like just had an idea, like something that happened personally, like before, and I was like, okay, like I could write something that can kind of like fit that. So I wrote Betrayal, and it's about like this guy takes someone's like idea for like a tech, like a company, like an app. He takes his app and he becomes a millionaire. So this guy pretty much says like, "I want it back. Like, you took my idea. I want my money. I want what's mine." So he kidnaps them, and pretty much like chaos ensues. That's all I can say. It gets a little crazy.
That sounds intriguing.
Yeah.
That sounds extremely intriguing.
Oh man, it was when we shot it. We were like, "Oh, this is good."
Yeah. There's one shot that's really cool. Like David was holding the camera. And we had our actor, because he's our actor Peter Mendoza. He's also a stunt coordinator. So we had him like coordinate a stunt where we had David holding the camera, and then he threw him on the floor, like at the same time. And like
me, of course, being the other character that he's basically struggling to fight with.
Yeah, like a POV version. Yeah, it was cool to see.
It sounds extremely fun and funny.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
can't
yeah.
wait for the behind the scenes stuff, man. It was insane.
Yeah, but no, but like doing more of these projects, like it's gotten me more excited. Like it's just I feel more comfortable on the set now. Like I wasn't stressed. We were able to collaborate and make great decisions on the time. Like it wasn't stressful, like as compared to that first shoot. You know, that first shoot I felt really stressed. This one's like so chill. It was perfect. And then we also did another short before with a different, my other friend, Ivan, he wrote a script and I directed a few scenes from that script. And it's called Scenes from Cella Skank. And we kind of just did some stuff there. And that also got me excited about like doing this again. So I was like, okay, like it just, the more we do it, the more I feel comfortable behind it, where I'm like, this is what we're supposed to do. And like the more we do it, the more I feel like the things in my life led me into this and has taught me to deal with this kind of stuff. Because I grew up all over LA. You know, like David said, I left LA for like 2 years. I lived in Portland. So I'm used to like interacting with people from all walks of life. And it's like I enjoy it. I'm curious. So if I meet somebody, like I think we hung out with somebody that was Armenian, and I just asked them about the Armenian genocide. We just kept talking, and I get interested about that stuff. Like I really like to like learn about people. So it's like I like to just get people from all over the world and just get them all in here. That's why I was like David said like we are, you know, trying to build Hollywood within, you know, Cella, or, you know, build our own little empire here. But I also like to bring in people from the outside. Like I do like
Absolutely.
to, you know, open the door to everyone and say like, yo, come play with us. You know,
Yeah.
we're not gonna be like everybody else where they're like, you can't play with us because we're creating our own thing and you can't play with us. No, no, no. We're creating our own thing so that you come play with us, so you can and enjoy yourself with us, so that we have our own field. So you come and play with us. We want you to. We want you to come and be creative with us. We don't want you to be excluded. Like I don't care about anything other than just, can you be creative, and are you a cool person to hang out with? Like
Yeah, and
can we
also
have fun creating? That's it.
yeah, have a good time.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Well, and what would be the words, David, you first this time, and then Ernie, what's the words you would say, the best piece of advice that you were given that you now would like to give to someone else who is aspiring as a filmmaker or a creator?
Believe in it. You
Believe,
know,
oh, simple,
believe it.
well put. You know what? The power and the simplicity of how you just said that, it just resonated with me.
Yeah.
It is so overwhelmingly. Believe in it.
Believe in it and don't think twice about it. If you got to think twice about it, go on to the next one. And the one you don't have to think about, do it. Just do it.
And Ernie?
I would say control the controllable. Anything else, just let it be.
Control the controllable. Fantastic.
Or else it's gonna eat
And
you
then,
alive.
or else it's going to eat you alive, you said.
Yeah, or else eat you alive. Yeah. It will. It will.
Well, you know, there's this thing that we as people sometimes don't understand. Those things that are out of our control can drive you crazy, and it can eat you up if you don't have control of it in yourself. And I heard this great expression that says, sometimes we're the things that we are out of our control, we're just supposed to be witness to, so we can know what we can control.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I got to tell you, gentlemen, this has been one of the best interviews I've had for aspiring filmmakers and new leaders coming up. And this has been an absolute pleasure having you here on the program today. I must tell you, thank you so much for sharing with us. And I also want to say, as a part Hispanic myself, thank you on behalf of the community as well, because this is very important work that you're doing. And for Makersbar, as I said in the beginning, we're looking to create 1 million leaders. And you are you are two of the best examples I've seen of those leaders that are helping to do so as well. So thank you, gentlemen.
No, thank you for
Thank
having
you,
us.
sir.
It's been a pleasure. We can't wait to see more and see what's next for us, as well as for Maker's Mark and for yourself, Seth. We can't wait to see you more. Hopefully people are maybe watching, and hopefully we could see you as well, Seth, at the Chicano Film Festival this weekend. Just let me know, and shoot me a DM or a text message, and I'll be able to set you up with those links and so forth.
Absolutely, I will definitely do so. And I want to say thank you again for sharing with us. The film is called Press Play and is debuting at the Chicano Film Festival this weekend in Pomona, correct?
That's right. Yeah, July 18th at 12 p.m. Chicano Hollywood Film Festival.
And where can people learn more about your projects and your company?
I have a very small site, so it'll just be personal. So I guess it's going to be at davidhrzfilms.com. Just a link to what Nightflare does. There's not an official website yet, just because I still have to get all things together. But Instagram mainly for sure. You can see more about our the company and so stuff that we do. And most of my pages where you can see more of what we do as a collaborative. You'll get to see the team. You get to see the work that we've done. Even some of the behind the scenes stuff is up there. We'll be launching behind the scenes of Press Play after it debuts. So we'll have something in the making for people to watch of how the making of Press Play, and so forth with everything else. Just same thing with my music video coming out with Las Cafeteras. We'll have a making of that music video coming out afterwards, the debut, just for people to have and to be able to watch.
We are looking forward to you becoming the next, no, not even just the next Tyler Perry, but the prominent Hispanic filmmakers, and that we see it already in sight for your film studio in Southeast LA. We're looking forward to that. And we're absolutely sending you the best of our thoughts. And I'm looking forward to all the growth that you're going to have and the success that you're going to not only have for yourself, but for the people that you're building a pathway for. So thank you for your efforts, gentlemen.
Appreciate it, Seth. Thank you.
Thank you, Seth. Thank you for what you're doing.
Absolutely. Man. Absolutely. Thank you very much. And there's more to come from Makerspar, and there's more to come from my podcast, which I'll definitely be keeping you guys informed about, and we'll be staying in touch.
Thank you. Send it over.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So as I always end the program with, I say that the revolution we all want is of love. It is the love-volution. Let's continue to revolutionize what love is and what we can do in our efforts to put more love in our communities and in our world. We thank you so much for joining us with Seth Garu and Makerspar, and our two aspiring dominant filmmakers that we're looking forward to all the great things that they're going to do. Peace, be nice to each other, and take care. Take deep breaths and always know that it's going to be okay. And as David left us with today, what was your expression you said, David?
Believe it.
Believe it. Believe it. We're looking forward to it. Thank you, brothers. Take good care.
Thank you, man.
Absolutely.